My first booking actually was a very large booking and was direct booking. So it was a $40,000 booking. So we set up our accounts, our trust accounts, got our softwares going. Next thing you know, one step at a time, we just went forward.
Welcome to the Vacation Rental Show. This is your essential playbook to grow and scale your vacation rental business with advice and insights from the best in the biz. I'm your host, Lynell Gordon.
Welcome to the Vacation Rental Show. I'm Lynell Gordon, your host, and today I am really thrilled to have Shervin. And Shervin, you're going to say your last name.
Jamshidpour.
There you go. Jamshidpour. And he is the founder of a company called RestNest. And they specialize in ultra high-end luxury vacation rentals across British Columbia, from Kelowna to like Whistler. And he has a background in customer service, and his heart, while you listen to him, guys, just listen to his heart. It's on delivering like exceptional guest experiences while helping his homeowners to really maximize the potential of what they want to get from their properties. They combined meticulous attention to detail with top quality standards that he holds. And he has an innovative approach to how he has built his luxury property management company in British Columbia. Welcome, Shervin.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
All right. And let's talk about your business for just a minute. How many properties do you guys have?
Well, we look after a total of 26 properties.
Between Vancouver and Whistler?
Oh, Kelowna.
Oh, Kelowna.
Yeah, Kelowna is a city about 3 hours away from Vancouver. It's a lake country. We'll go there for boating, wineries. I mean, all of Western Canada's wines pretty much comes from Okanagan, just surrounding the lake. So there's a lake called Okanagan.
Mm-hmm.
Around Okanagan, there's around 6 cities. Kelowna, West Kelowna, Summerland, all these, like, they're all just wineries, all the words. You know, it's a summer seasons. People come there every summer. The population like doubles every year, so it's a pretty popular place. And then except that, we look after houses in Whistler. We're definitely not as big as we are in Kelowna than Whistler. Whistler, just the competition is complete different game. We are looking into expanding into Big White and Vancouver, but Vancouver, the licensing is just not that many listings there are, especially the type of listings that we look for. Like, we don't try to bring on apartments and stuff like that. We want mainly residential high-end homes. And that is very rare in Vancouver that would be able to, A, get a license, B, the house will be empty. So the owners are mainly living here. You know, this is not a vacation town like Whistler and Kelowna. So that's the big difference.
How long have you been doing this?
We started in 22, so almost 4 years. When I started this business, I kind of just had an opportunity with one listing, which was my friend's house. It was a nice house, high-end home. My thing was just get into the industry. So when we started managing his house, slowly we just onboarded high-end homes one at a time. And when we were at almost mid-second year, we were at 10 high-end homes. And at that point, I was like, okay, I cannot take on any apartments or not nice homes, I would call it. It's just not fair to both owners. We kind of want to have a niche down into one specific category. So that was when we're like, okay, high-end homes only. And then we're like, okay, we're in the summer seasons, we're in Kelowna. How do we expand? How do we kind of fill up our winter seasons so we're not just sitting, empty-handed? Option was between Big White and Whistler. I took the harder route and went for Whistler. Whistler is just, the competition there is quite big. They're very good. I'm not even gonna, they're good. They're good at what they do. They have funding behind them. So it's not easy to get into it, but right now we're looking at like 6-7 properties there right now. And, just one step at a time.
That's awesome. One step at a time is awesome too.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you grew from one home. That's really phenomenal.
Funny,
it truly is.
Yeah. We were at my friend's house in Kelowna. We were just hanging out. This was during COVID, 2019 or 2021. And he was complaining about his property manager. At that time, I was doing Airbnbs in Vancouver as a side hustle. I was actually a compliance officer for a currency exchange company. So I was working in this office. At the same time, we were managing arbitrage Airbnbs, 2 apartments in Vancouver. They were very low class apartments. We were getting probably the worst guests you could ever imagine.
I don't know. I can imagine a lot of bad guests. I'm just
I
telling
don't
you.
know if you know Vancouver, but it was right in Gastown. Anyway, COVID hit, we had to shut it down. And my friend were at his house. He was complaining about his property manager, about how they're not taking care of it, not enough booking. I'm like, listen, I can do this. I can do way better. He's like, yeah, sure, but if you move here, well, I hate my job. And I, dropped everything, rented a house, didn't know if I'll have enough income, and no idea what I was doing. But when I started it, I wanted to do it right off the bat. So I started researching about direct bookings, websites, and everything there is. My first booking actually was a very large booking and it was direct booking. So it was a $40,000 booking on my first booking.
Wow.
So we set up our accounts, our trust accounts, got our softwares going. Next thing you know, one step at a time, we just went forward. And then, when I had that listing, I was getting guests that wanted the house, but it was full. So I used that leverage of those guests to kind of onboard other houses. I go to these other owners, like, hey, I have this guest, great family, do you want them or not? So that's another house we onboarded. Then I just kept leveraging the guests that I had with no homes to get new listings, which actually worked out perfectly.
That's awesome. You've gone from 1 to 26 listings of luxury properties in British Columbia. You've done it yourself. You haven't used any acquisition. You've just done it. That was really interesting the way that you said you built it. You built it from guest
we use
referrals. Is that what you're talking about? How are you leveraging the guests? Explain to me how you did that.
I wouldn't say referrals. So, we're marketing, running ads, we're out there. A guest reaches to me, he's like, I want a house for 2 weeks in July. I want it to be waterfront, has a pool. I don't have that. I don't have that house, but I'm not going to tell the guest I don't have it and kind of let them go somewhere else. I go start searching. I go searching for houses that are for sale, houses that used to rent. I don't know. I'll talk to people. I will dig the internet up, find the house. When I find the house, I start finding owners. That kind of gets a little creepy of how I find the owners because I dig into the internet so deep.
Well, of course, I understand that. No,
find the email, find the number,
tax records everywhere in the U.S., so we get it.
Internet, you can find anything in there, and you'll be So I find the owner, say, hey, I have this family of 6. They're looking for a house just like yours. I can get you net, I don't know, 40,000, 50,000. Do you want a booking like this or not? They reach out, they're like, oh, I don't know, I've never thought about it, blah, blah, blah. So we kind of get on a call, get them a little comfortable with it. I'm like, listen, you don't have to do this all the time. Let's try it once, see if you like it, see how you feel, see how the revenue feels, and then we'll go from there. And I've never had an owner that would give a chance and stop afterwards. Everyone loves it. The revenue of it just kind of...
That's like a story tale, guys. That's crazy. That's really amazing. And it's very ingenious. And it's very ingenious.
Well, yeah, I have a funny story of how it
and brave. It's very brave, Shervin.
Yeah, no, the funniest one. It's not funny. It's actually very cool. So there was this house. So when my friend's house, we always went to of my first listing, right in front of us, there was another house being developed right on top of the hill. This is like a massive 1 acre lot. We started looking at this lot since 2019. It was being built all the way till 2024, 2025. Like I would say last year finished, 24. It's a massive house, 10,000 square foot house. I've been watching it since day one. I'm like, I want that house. I don't care what it takes. I knew the owner of it. It was just everyone kind of knew the owner of it is a furniture store in Vancouver. So what we did, this was a complete coincidence. We didn't do it on purpose, but I got married last year. We started moving to this apartment, looking for furniture. We end up at the same store. It's a pretty big store, so it's nothing odd. Everyone goes there. I bought a couch. And I'm like, okay, I can't just leave just with the couch. I gotta try something. So I gave my wife to write a hand letter, just a note. Hey, this is what we do in watching house. We'd love to manage it. give it to the manager. I was like, can you give this to the owner? I knew the owner's name too. And then I will say within 24 to 48 hours, I got a call. And then she's like, yeah, she calls me. She's like, oh, this person's probably my favorite owner, like hands down.
Oh, I love that.
It's just, yeah, she's so easy to work with. She's very understanding. I've dealt with a lot of bad owners. So when you get the good ones, you want to treat them extra nice.
100%.
Yeah, she kind of messaged me. She's like, yeah, I'm open to it, but I only want to do it movies and events. I'm like, no. You're making a huge mistake here. I will bring a family of 4 that will pay the same price instead of having an event of 100 people in there. She's like, interesting. Right off the bat, her summer started getting 3 bookings for the whole summer. I will net her over 200K. So now we're...
That's beautiful. So let me ask you this. What advice would you give property managers that are looking to get into the luxury market? What are things that specifically that they should do to think about moving into that area?
Challenge that I had was figuring out our systems of software and everything. We had a few of those changed. I think don't overthink it much. And another important thing that I wish I did it right off the bat is our financials. I wish I organized it better. So our first year, I didn't organize it right. And we had some challenges to kind of get it backtracking to everything, figuring out all the details. That kind of cost me a lot of money to kind of figure it out. It makes sense. So like, yeah, the owner wants to use it often. They want to rent it just for 1 month in the summer. And we have a family that rents it every year.
I love that.
It's like I'm just a middleman between one family and one owner, and that's it.
That's really fabulous. I love the way that you built your business too. You built it smart and you built it on relationship.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's pretty phenomenal. It really is.
There was another house in Worcester that we were trying to kind of expand into. The house was for sale. It was a lodge that used to be a 5-star lodge, and they sold it to some other person. He kind of just trashed it down. It went from 5-star to 3-star. It just kind of went bankrupt. I don't know what happened. The house went on foreclosure. For 3 years, it was unlisted. This was a house that was valued at $13 million one day, was foreclosure for $5 million, and wasn't selling.
Oh my gosh!
Eventually, it did sell. And then
for $5 million.
Yes, and it goes to court, and then people come to court. They can beat that offer. So what I did, I just went and showed up in court, sat there for 4 hours to see who will win the house. And then when the winner was announced, just went up there. I was like, hey, I want to manage your house. He's like, come to Worcester tomorrow. I was like, okay, I'll see you there.
Did you get it?
Yes. And
I love that.
Yeah. There was a lot of renovations that needed to be done. It was pretty interesting.
Well, you are like that's just talked about entrepreneurial. You're really sharp in that. I have to tell you, when I had my first rental house, I too did a foreclosure as well. Showed up in court and bid on it. And I was like, this is going to be my first rental house. It's going to make a whole bunch of money. And I think it could have. It was going to be a long-term rental, not a short-term rental. I ended up having to sell it, which was great, for the exact amount of money that I needed to pay off my partner to buy my business. So, I mean, it was a blessing from God, but it didn't end up that way. But it was a foreclosure.
Built by property managers for property managers, Streamline is a powerful software that gives managers enterprise-level capabilities to drive more revenue and improve operational efficiency. Migrating to Streamline allows property managers to gain functionality while reducing the need for multiple vendors. Improve your flow by logging into a single system and reduce redundant technology costs. With Streamline, property managers achieve revenue lifts by leveraging our fully fledged communication center reservations, quoting system, revenue management tools, homeowner acquisition CRM, and powerful direct OTA connections. Streamline also has industry-leading trust accounting and report capabilities to give you clarity in an overall company performance. Learn more about Streamline Vacation Rental software at streamlinevrs.com.
Let me ask you this. How do you think the guests differ, the expectations differ between the ultra high-end like you manage compared to a more standard property? What is the difference in the guest expectation?
Weirdly enough, I find it a lot easier with high-end guests. Here's the thing. Things happen at these homes. These are high-end homes. I have this house with 2 sliding doors. Each door is $100,000. They're massive. You cannot pull it manually. It's all electronics. You press a button and it kind of slowly just opens. I had a guest at this house at $70,000 for 2 weeks. Then one of those doors stops working. Just perfect timing. It's just, it's like great, God's testing my patience. That guest is a lot more understanding than anyone else. You know why? Because it's like, yeah, I own a home in Scottsdale. I have something similar happen to us very recently. They've seen it. They own these homes. They know how it works. It's not about what breaks for them. It's about what am I doing to take care of it. How fast am I responding to this? Where am I? What am I doing to fix it? It's not about fixing it. It's about the attempts. We did fix that we had to bring 3 different electricians because the company that built it, the doors was out of business. They didn't exist. Everything that had to go wrong went wrong. We had to bring 3 different electricians to fix it. At the end of the day, it was fine. And then we have these, lower end homes that I wouldn't say lower end. It's like a townhouse. Rents for $7,000 a week. That's still not low, but this stuff the people ask for is just kind of surprising. They don't understand things that happen. They want a refund a lot faster. They ask for a lot more, a lot more than a high-end home guest does.
Wow.
I personally have found high-end guests a lot easier to deal with, like significantly less. It's easier to, they don't negotiate over the price. They don't reach out, hey, can you give me another $1,000 discount? It's like, how much is it? This. Okay, let me talk to my wife. Done. Okay, that's it. There is no negotiations. I have a guest that, the one I told you that comes between the owner and the guest once, and that's it. They own a storage in Kelowna, 3,000 square foot storage. They have boats in there. They have 2 cars in there. They have tables in there, cutlery, towels, lighting, and then they come into any house that they rent and they set up the house their own way. They put out their own twinkly lights. They bring their own plates, their own outdoor chairs, tables, all these toys, different cars, the summer cars. So they just bring everything out. And then you try to do things for them. They don't want it. Like, we're good. We have it all. I'm checking them out. I'm like, how's everything? Talking to them. They're like, oh, the mattress was kind of hard for us because the owner is kind of Middle Eastern. They like hard mattresses. The guests just didn't like it. And they didn't tell me anything about it, because if they would have told me, I would have gone to Costco or something, bring it right away. What they did, they ordered their own. From Amazon, those top off, just put their own mattresses up. I'm like, great that you do it on your own. I wish you told me. I want to give that service. You just want to do something. But that's how they are.
If you could give one piece of advice to someone who is entering the vacation rental industry as an entrepreneur, what would that advice be?
I would say start slow, one at a time. Don't try to onboard, 20 properties right away. That's something I was kind of trying to do, like reach out as many as people. And when you start, if it does work and you do get the volume, you will crack down. It's just not as easy to manage it. People see short-term rental industry as a business that you can kind of take photos, list it, and call their day. A lot more than that. I would like to advise always stick to luxury. It's just way more interesting, fun, and in every way, but it's not for everyone at the same time. I want to say don't avoid, apartments and smaller listings just to go to luxury, because it's a lot harder to get in. It's a lot harder to convince the owners. These are high net worth owners. They don't need the money necessarily. They're okay with it, but they're not begging for it. So there's good and bad. I like it a lot more, personally.
Well, looking ahead, what do you see as the biggest challenge for the ultra high-end vacation rental market over the next few years?
I would say governments, if they stop getting involved in it. I understand what they try to do for the house and everything, like in BC specifically, they try to shut down everything. And then we're all looking at it as like, okay, you bring in these apartments back to market. I understand that. But a house that I manage that is worth $20 million, the rent for monthly rental, it will be like 25 to 30,000. That's making no difference. That's not adding anything to the market. But again, how are you going to tell them to kind of give me the leverage of like freedom and stop these other ones? My thing is, yeah, governments, they kind of need to slow down the roll.
What is your biggest challenge that you've overcome in scaling your business? In adding additional luxury homes, what is the biggest challenge to adding more luxury homes?
Yeah, I would say, I still consider myself a new company, small company. Biggest challenge is trying to get into the markets that are very well established.
Oh, like you were talking about going to Vancouver.
Yeah, Vancouver and Whistler specifically, actually. Like there's very specific areas that are zoned for short-term rentals. And if they're zoned for short-term rentals, they're already with a management company. There's total of like 5, 6. There's a lot of management companies in Whistler. There's 5, 6 of them are running the whole city. And those ones that are zoned are already listed with most one of these guys. So it's really, really difficult to convince them to switch. Because as I said, they're doing a good job too. It's not like I can be like, they're bad, I'll do better. So like that's how I kind of got into Kelowna. They were bad companies that were really giving bad service, paying out late, doing it wrong. So when I got into Kelowna, I was specifically targeting specific companies' listings because I knew the owners are not happy. I cannot do that in Whistler. I can, Whistler, I find listings, they're either listed with someone, which is a good company, big company, or they're managing themselves. And, that is my biggest challenge right now, to try to convince owners, high-end homes in Whistler, to kind of switch over.
What are you going to offer them to do that? How are you going to do that?
I'm trying a few different things. It's funny because like a few days ago, like 3 days ago, there was this owner I've been trying to reach out that I know is with another company. See, that's another thing. It's like, am I doing the right thing going after another company's clients? Or is it like it kind of feels wrong in some sense, but the company just so big that I kind of tell myself it's not a small company. It's okay. They have like 50 employees. The owners don't even work. It's just something I tell myself to kind of feel better about it. I sent them a letter to London 2 days ago to see what they say. I haven't heard back yet.
So you don't really want to grow huge. You want to grow your inventory based on the houses that you want. And you're not really looking to grab 100 homes and be a big company.
I think if I was to put a max number on it, I would say somewhere between 30 to 50 homes max. And anything over that, I'm pretty sure I'll start going the downhill. Start giving bad service. I don't know. I obviously will avoid it.
You could grow. I guess you could grow. You would, but you'd have to have the right people. Having the right people in place is one of the main ways to grow.
There's nothing more important than your staff, I would say. Yes, I agree. And it's a huge challenge, especially with us that have 2 different seasons. In Kelowna, and there's nothing to do in the winter. And when I say the winter, I'm talking October till like May. And there's only like 2-3 months that it's operating.
Mm-hmm.
The rest, it's very slow. We do long-term, mid-term bookings. People come for 6-7 months and stay in the house.
And they rent it the rest of the time.
Yeah. So there's a lot of, we get insurance deals. People that have sold the house are looking for something else. They come for the winter, 6, 7, 8 months, and then they leave. Then we go back on the market for the summer. That's just how we.
So if people want to reach out to you, if they have questions about, something you've said or that you brought an idea that they're interested in, how could they reach you?
I would just say the email on our website, info@restnest.ca. I monitor that on a daily basis myself as well as someone else, but I would say that would be the best way. LinkedIn,
All right, great.
active, Instagram. I'm very active all the time in responding to everything and everyone.
That's fabulous.
I don't believe in being too busy.
No, I'm with you.
And that's just thing I to avoid.
Is there any other advice you'd like to give property managers or anything else you'd like to say?
It's just you got to try, see if you fit in it, do your best, give the best service. It's a hospitality at the end of the day. Your service is everything. Your response rate, even if you can't fix something, don't ignore it. Be there, show up at the door, talk to them, be honest, tell them exactly what's happening. Tell them that you're having difficulty finding whatever it is. You tell them, people understand. These are humans. They've spent their money to come on this vacation. If you make sense, they'll understand. But if they also can smell when you try to trick them. If you lie anything, they will get it. This is not their first rodeo.
Be honest.
Be honest. It's very important. Be very straight up. I have a very, very personal connection with all my high-end guests. These people, I don't just host them. I talk to them during the year. I'm not kidding. I have guests that message me to ask questions outside of rentals. Hey, I was thinking of buying this house. What do you think? We talk. It's not a one-time thing.
I love that. So you created relationships with your guests and your homeowners, and that's beautiful. That's what it's all about. That is what hospitality is about, Shervin, and I agree.
Very close to them. They're cool people. I'm not just trying to stay close with them to, get the rental. These are interesting people to be friends with. Talk to them. I have owners that used to list with us. They stopped listing for whatever reason. We stay in touch. Doesn't matter. They like it. I like it. Cool people.
That's a blessing. It is.
No, I find myself a very, very lucky person.
And I'm really excited. Thank you so much for being on the show. I've really enjoyed your approach. It's unique. And I think that it is very honest. And it is, I think you do your homeowners a great service by helping them.
We try. We try to get them the best we can.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I wish you the best of luck in what you do.
Thank you.
Truly do. And I think that, obviously you're going to be successful at whatever you do. You're driven and you are, and you care. You truly care. And that comes across. So
thank you. Stay in touch. You never know.
Well, thanks again for being on the show and blessings to you. If there's anything I can ever do, let me know.
For sure. Thank you so much.
This episode of the Vacation Rental Show is brought to you by Streamline. To find out more about how Streamline can grow your vacation rental business, visit streamlinevrs.com. Make sure to search for the Vacation Rental Show in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, or anywhere else podcasts are found, and hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. On behalf of the team here at Inhabit, thanks for listening.